Hello, dears. Welcome to Flash Fiction Live on my channel, and I have my co-anchor.
Yeah,
We'll say co-anchor, Chandra here with me. So it's gonna be fun as always. For anyone who doesn't know, this is where we like to do the thing you're not supposed to do, which is publicly edit your first draft.
because why not?
Yeah. You're only going to get better. We edit each other's pieces. We allow chat to chime in their own comments, especially you'll notice a lot of times we go, there's a word missing here. We need this word and it means this. And then chat goes, is this the word you're looking for? And we're like, why, yes. Yes, it is. Thank you.
Very much that.
Yeah.
So
it's a mood.
Today is edit number 19. Yes, that one. And I've not read through the story today.
Yeah, I haven't. I still got to paste mine into our doc thing here. Because I know the prompt is leaving her forever, and I just don't remember what I wrote, but I know it exists.
Yeah, I found the story in my I have a doc where I've collected not all of them but most of them.
Yeah,
and I just searched the key phrase there because I pretty much always use the prompt, incorporate the prompt in the story.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I don't actually know what I wrote.
Which actually comes in handy for you when you're doing your control F. Whereas me, my labeling system is every story has its own document, and I've labeled it by episode 14, blah, blah, blah. But I also have a spreadsheet that has every single prompt and which episode it's tied to that I'm putting info in. Whoops.
Yeah. For me, the reason I have to do it this way is because I was not that organized. I didn't realize that I needed to have some kind of organization system until we were halfway through, and it was too late to do anything about it unless I went back through.
Some of them I had of yours. So
yes. Thank goodness, because some of them I'm I don't know where I put that.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, goodness.
Well, that is good. So we'll start off as we usually do with a read through, and we each leave notes on each other's story.
Yeah,
and then we'll
it's 10 minutes. 10 minutes read through to add comments.
Yeah,
and then
we'll talk through those.
We talk it through,
and then we have a 20-minute sprint to incorporate the changes, and then we do our next
read through to see what we did better, see if there's anything else we need to do. A lot of the times it's we don't finish editing because we're like, I have an idea of where this could be more, and we talk about it and we're like, yes, we need that, please give us more.
And that's that works for us too, because we're usually well under the 1,000 words. So
absolutely. It'll be interesting to work with something when we're already close to 1,000 words.
Mm-hmm.
And how that works, because the goal is to stay under 1,000.
I also thought of some new challenges that we could do, because I feel like we've been doing this long enough that we could increase the level of difficulty. So yeah, if you would like to suffer more with me.
Depends on the challenge. I just found out what I thought was the bonus is not the bonus.
Is this
when I opened up episode 14, the bonus was the write the song, which seems odd because we did that sooner than episode 14. Oh wait, I wonder if I pulled from the thing. Leaving Earth Forever.
Did we write a song?
Yeah, so I forget what song you had, but I had No Diggity.
Oh, that's right. That's right. We did do that. I forgot about that.
But I'm trying to find story. It was part of episode 14 because I had to pull that up. And I remember seeing it at the bottom of our thingamajig.
So when I look at November 13th, this is from November 13, 2021. The two that I have is A Couple on a Cruise and Leaving Earth Forever.
Yeah, and I have A Couple on a Cruise, and then I got the song, No Diggity.
That's. I wonder what song I used then, because I have this.
But if you look on the episode, like you actually pull up our YouTube for it, it's Leaving Earth Forever with the 10 words.
I'm so confused then.
I swear I wrote something. It's just finding it. Before sunrise, sunset.
And I know we did that. I know we did the song.
Yeah. We did the song like this year.
Searching for. I don't remember what song I did because this was one of the challenges, right?
Yeah, it was something we did this year as one of our bonus challenges. We didn't do it in 2022.
Okay.
But I really want to find Leaving Earth Forever. I will transcribe the story we read.
Oh, it was an inspirational draft. What date was it? Do we know the date?
I can see when the last time I edited this thing. Hold on. It would have probably been January 14th. There we go.
January 14th. Okay. That would be episode 2. More by I don't know who that is in Lubalin.
Yeah. So for anybody confused about the song, Chandra and I gave ourselves the challenge to put our music playlist on shuffle. And the first song that came up, we had to go with. Mine was No Diggity by Backstreet. And hers was More by somebody.
Yeah. I don't remember what I wrote at all, but I did find it.
All right.
Emailed you ladies something about one of the replacement words. Checking.
Yeah. I haven't checked the email yet.
Oh, okay. I'm tracking. I got you. Which one did we want to edit today then? Did you want to do the song one or did you want to do...
I guess we can do the song one because I can't find, no matter how many times I search, open, Leaving Earth. I even just typed Leaving Earth. I'm about to just do a search for Earth, but hold on.
Let me see if I have yours.
If you do, you godsend.
It was, the date was 2021, 11/13.
Ooh, bravo.
I may have come back in. Uh-oh.
I feel like mine was a metaphor for leaving Earth, not really.
I'm not seeing that same date, so I'm wondering if I wrote the date down wrong. Dobby, quit.
You're being too much, Dobby.
He keeps just rubbing his like canine like big tooth on my hand. It's like
aggressive.
Like your love hurts. Stop it.
All right.
I know I have it somewhere because I copied mine over from the document, but I'm not finding my original document.
It's gone into the ether of all the gremlins.
And it is from 2021. There's only one other place I can look.
Got an idea. All right, because now I'm going to try to search the 10 words. Did you copy those at all?
I did not.
Okay. I'm going to see if I can get the words.
Which isn't too terribly helpful.
Words to include stole, dinner, allergy, hush, graduate, soul, gold. All right. Last push.
Hi, Dina. How are you? You are welcome. Let me try this.
All right, I got 2 options. Oh, that's funny. Forgot about that. Now, one was an inspiration from a game. And, yeah.
Ooh. Ah, I found it.
Oh, bless you, dear.
Oh, this is the challenge was to write the story twice.
Oh, from 2 different perspectives.
I think so.
I think I might know what mine.
I'm copying it over now.
Okay, I think I remember this one. I think this is the 2 people in cars, I think, or something.
And I just pasted it in there.
Oh, bless you. Okay, so now I'll do my job. And
I have both of the stories too, because we wrote it. We actually didn't. We did. I don't know if we wrote it from 2 different perspectives, but there are actually 2. You have 2 full stories, so I'm gonna copy both of them over.
Yeah, I can't remember Yeah, so this is one where we did it from 2 different perspectives.
Yeah. And it's got the markups in it as well. But I guess that's going to mean, where did I put my second story?
Oh. Okay, so the yellow hat one, that's not it. That's not it, but the one below it is.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm deleting the yellow hat thing.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so we got it.
All right. Woo. Our powers, well, I say our powers combined. That was all you, honey. Thank you.
You are very welcome. And I'm going to go ahead and share the original document with you because it does have your other project on there. And
we did that other project.
But do you have both of them already?
Yeah, the other one I got with the yellow hat and everything. Yeah, that one I got. I say yellow hat, but it starts with Sherry drinking coffee. I remember that one. That was a couple on a cruise.
Okay.
Which we already edited because I took it to mean like on a cruise ship, and you took it to mean like on a drive.
Right. Okay, that checks out. We are back on track.
We're golden. All right. So now I need to open up my timer. Man, it took us so long to get here. Thanks for bearing with us, chat. Oh, wrong thing.
I don't know if you hear all the vocalization.
Is she whining to go outside?
Yeah.
Aw. It will happen soon.
Either that or she's trying to get me to give her out. Hey, no slap boxing. We don't do that. She may also be, she's done this thing now. Hey, quiet, please. Where she will run and sit in front of the refrigerator, which is where like she has a thing that's like that we have a routine before like meal times. She's figured out that if she goes and she sits there when it's not a meal time, that I will be like, did I feed you?
She is playing into your memory.
She is. Well, because I can't bear to like, ooh.
Like, yeah, I've forgotten to feed my dogs before.
Well, and that's the thing. I'm like, if I have a question about it, I'm just going to do it again. And she knows this. And so she does the whole like, oh, woe is me. I'm so pitiful. And then I'm like, okay, so you get an extra half a scoop just in case.
Just in case. That enough to not ruin your dinner, but enough to tie you over. So,
yeah. So it's going to be one of those two things.
Zara, just to save it a little bit, and Ashley Chandra too. So one of the words I changed, it was for O, and I changed it to Orion, meaning like Orion's belt, but I might have spelled it wrong. I spelled it Orian.
You say that like it should mean something to me. I'm just kidding.
I mean, you're familiar with astrology, right? Astronomy.
Yeah.
Astronomy. There we go.
Oh, it should be O-N. I was just joking because I can't spell. So when you say something, I'm
O-R-I-O-N.
Yeah.
Okay. Orion. Why do I say it and then? Orion? Orion? I don't know. English sucks. We talked about this during Zara's stream this morning.
I just usually am like, that sounds great.
Yeah.
But I also have like the Grammarly keyboard on my phone and
oh God, I depend on that. What drives me crazy is when I don't get the spelling close enough and it won't help me, and I'm like, I'm trying to get there.
What kills me is when I'm trying to use speech to text because I can't get close enough spelling it, and it's like, and then I go back and I pull out my dictionary and start to just read through the dictionary in that order.
Oh, I hate it. I always feel like my parents tricked me and everything, because it'd be like, I don't know this word, and they're like, go look it up in the dictionary, and I'm like, but I can't even spell it, and for some reason, the only things that are coming to mind are like psychology and tsunami and stuff, like where the first letter's silent.
Mm-hmm.
So, it sucks. But okay, so using the prompt, leaving Earth behind, and then the challenge was to write it from 2 different perspectives. We are on this episode 14 bonus flash. We are going to read each other's stories and put in comments, suggested edits, what have you. Because it's from 2 different perspectives, they are short. So we have a lot of word room here to work with. But it will be okay.
Do you want to pick a perspective that, like, our favorite one and then refine that part of the story more, or do you just want to do the whole thing?
I like the whole thing. We can discuss if we think it's better if we drop one, but I also like the idea of having 2 perspectives too from a reader standpoint.
Okay.
So, all right, we're going to get started. 10-minute sprint, then we're going to come back, expand upon our ideas, and then we'll do a 20-minute sprint to incorporate those edits for anyone who's thinking that this is just a chit-chat show. It is, but it's also sprints too. All right. In 3, 2, 1. All right. Did you finish?
I did.
Okay.
I just really like this story.
I like yours, but I realize I need more. And I think it's because at the time we were focused on the challenge of doing multiple, doing dual POVs of the same moment.
Mm-hmm.
That it, and then I think you went further and gave yourself the challenge of using 10 words in the first one and the same 10 words in the second one.
Oh, that sounds like something I would do.
Yes. Yeah. Pretty much the challenge is here, and you're like, let's make it harder. So,
like,
whatever.
Natalie, why don't you write the same story 3 times from 3 different perspectives?
Yeah. So, I rather, let me just go ahead and go into yours. So your beginning part is kind of choppy to me, where it's like she sees him at a party and he stole her voice, but then, and she kept on peeking over her shoulder to see if he was still there. And then it was like, wait a second. I thought I was just going to work forever. Like that was my goal. And I didn't plan to be in a relationship. And so that was kind of a jump there. But now they're dating and it's dinner parties and he's great and they're going to dance. But then we jump to her allergy and everything. So I just wanted some flow of like she's her mindset is work. Then she sees him. And I do love like when she saw him, he's out of this world. And I thought about leaving Earth forever. Like I love that and everything. And then from there they bond and stuff. And then, they talked about it, talked to each other, talked about themselves. And she of course told him she has an EpiPen because of her allergies and stuff like that. And so he does all this romantic stuff, and now they're at a secluded picnic because in her section, you don't mention seclusion, picnic whatsoever. I thought they were at dinner at first somewhere. And I'm like, no one's helping.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And so no seclusion, but you could show her enamoration or whatever with the guy with like, oh, he's made a picnic for us and we're going out together in the secluded wherever, hiking this really remote place, whatever. But so one of the parts, she said she told him where she put her EpiPen in her bag just in case. Thank goodness for that. But how embarrassing would it have been to ask him to stab her with it? And I'm like, what's embarrassing? Because you just gotta. Is it the fact that she's incapacitated and needs his help? Because with an EpiPen, you can shoot through the clothes. You don't have to like hike up the skirt all the way up to panty lines here.
I think that's something I can definitely play with because I think it should indicate her being like a little naive and immature.
Yeah.
And to feel like I'm sorry, is it inconvenient for you that I almost died? Like, how could that be embarrassing? I feel like as an adult, it would be like, versus as a younger person, there were times I've been like, oh my gosh, that would be so, like, can you imagine if you were like choking and someone had to give you the Heimlich? Like, yeah, how dare you almost die, you know?
Like it's, yeah, like I want to know what's embarrassing. And I'm assuming it's just that very vulnerable. Like she recognizes being vulnerable and she's feeling close to him, but like she wants, it's like forcing her to open up about herself before she's ready. You know? It's like for example, it kind of makes me think of people who've had a colonoscopy or have or diabetic and have to shoot themselves. You're not on the first date pulling up your shirt and shooting your stomach right in front of the person. Like that's kind of a slow build situation.
I feel like, yes, I also I want it to be, I don't know, I feel like that it's something you would do for a stranger, right? If you saw someone having an allergic reaction, your response would be to jump in and be like, do you have an EpiPen? Like, can you speak? Somebody call 911. Like, you're jumping into the situation regardless. Like, insulin is more personal, but I feel like to say like, hey, this is a serious health issue for me. So, I feel like that too. I want to convey that she should be comfortable with this person, or she should be able to be comfortable with this person and be vulnerable. But also, like, that's kind of just like a basic need that a person might have. And that something still feels a little bit off and she doesn't quite trust him.
Which I like that. Like, maybe there's a reserve there. And so that she's just not ready to trust. So I kind of like that. And she interprets the reservation as embarrassment, not wanting to be close, but it's actually like her conscious saying, warning.
Yes.
Not this one. Which actually changes an idea, because I was wondering if this was a death that she wanted. And then my idea was, what if from his perspective, he was actually grooming her the whole time to make her think she wanted it. And stuff. So I had that idea at one point. But either way, with the words came out as a hush, I was like, what words? What words? Like, and so, because that's where it's choppy again. I'm assuming that's at her point where she actually ate the food. So I feel like we need to have like some moments here. She eats the food and like the slow tingling occurs, numbness and all those steps leading up to it. And then her section logically ends with death, or an assumed death, maybe like right when she crashes. And then like right when she collapses, and then that's when he comes in and his part I feel like is solid. It's like I held her as she was leaving Earth forever. So I feel like his part doesn't need much change. The line I love is, she stole my heart and I'd be the one to take her breath away. Like,
I do. Who wrote that?
I love it, because I feel like it shows his dark sense where he loves her, but he also loves death and everything. Like, but I think it's more of, it's not that you could actually make this really dark where he's like, she's my first, and it's like he loves her death, not her.
Yeah.
And it's like the first one for him.
Very Slipknot, Iowa.
Yeah. But the other part is the details of like, he packed the picnic, and I'm like, wait a second, how is he gonna claim, innocence here? If you pack the picnic, what food was in there. Like, she had an allergy, and unless they can say this is our second date or something, even then, like, it's kind of hard to feign ignorance when you pack the picnic. But if there's something in the picnic that where they have that fine print, and I brought it in, I was like, the fine print of made near shelf,
maybe processed. Well, so this is actually something I can clarify with as well, because I know this actually happened to someone, and they lived and they are fine.
Thank you for starting that.
But and this is kind of a cautionary tale, but also gives me a little bit of literary license. They were, I think, at Costco, and you know how they give you all the samples and stuff, and they'd asked, oh, does this have any like peanuts in it? And the person said no, and it didn't. However, the knife had been used. There's like two options of kind of the same thing, and the same knife was used to cut both of them, and it was laced with peanuts.
Oh.
So even if everything in the picnic basket is labeled and doesn't contain the allergen, if he was preparing something at home and say sliced cheese with the same knife that he used to like crush some walnuts or something, they're going to look at it and be like, there's nothing here, unless they're able to. Yes. What Zara said. Yeah.
Cross-contamination. Yes.
So I think it's if that's it, then it needs to be very clear. But also that part does happen. So if, as far as like an investigation, they would have to be like, going through his kitchen.
And
whatever.
so I think that would be cool to expand on his part of like, yeah,
that was it.
Yeah, like the knife he used had been also used for peanut butter crackers earlier that day or something.
Yeah,
peanut butter's just a common allergy, but whatever he ends up lacing it with.
He made like a shrimp salad, but just rinsed the knife off instead of washing it with soap and water, which that's kind of gross anyway. But
I had a few ideas with the next part. Well, first let me say this. It's the nature of using the same words, and graduate was fine. But when you got graduate in part 1 and then graduate in part 2 and then gradual in the second to last line, I was like, we got too many grads here. Like, it was just, it was a lot.
Yeah.
And then on the line of, it was worth every penny. I was like, shellfish is pretty expensive. Like, that'd be a pain in the butt. But I was thinking, if he, like, the idea could be this is only their second date or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But they met at the party and he'd been buying her drinks or something. If we got him spending money and everything, and maybe complaining about it or something a little bit.
Yeah.
Then the last line of it's worth every penny.
That makes sense.
So that was my feedback. It was really, I want more. I want expansion and everything. It was mostly in her part. His part is pretty good. I like where her part ends of like a collapse, and then his part is I'm holding her.
Yeah.
And I like that it's like a same situation, but there's actually not overlap and stuff. So
this was premeditated murder.
Yeah, that's the vibe I got from him.
Yes.
And that's what I'm going with. With her, at first, I thought that she wanted this. But after reading it through, I realized she didn't, because she could feel the panic as she looked into his eyes. And stuff. Like, I'm wondering if we could have her reaching for her bag or something, or
and I can also indicate that the panic is like maybe she's looking at him and she sees the expression on her face is not what she would expect it to be, like concern, or like, where is your bag, or taking some kind of initiative. He's just kind of calm and like chill about it. She's like, hello.
Epi, please, Epi, E-P-I.
I am in distress, and he's just like, there.
He said, I'm just in distress, and I immediately thought of Megra from Hercules going, I'm a damsel, I'm in distress, I got this.
I love that reference. Okay, Natalie's story. Here is my feedback. So,
all right.
I did make a note. Whose POV is this? And that becomes more relevant when we get back to the end, because what I was expecting at the end was for this POV at the beginning to make eye contact with the person who's in the second POV, but I don't think that's what happens. So
yeah, and I think we talked about that the first time we did comments on this.
The other thing I put in here, no cars in the intersection like I knew it would be. I know this is, I'm not sure if this is a reference to it being like a supernatural experience, or if there are never cars in that intersection.
It's just one of those least not used very much intersections. Like, it's hardly ever busy. Like, the way I imagine it is that you could be sitting at the red light and no cars come by, and you're like, come on, just turn green. Otherwise, I'm going to be illegal here if I just go.
Yeah. And that's what I was thinking. So I just put a note of as usual as a question. Okay. I then also added, I'll be at the going away dinner tonight and off to college tomorrow. So I added the tonight just to differentiate.
Yeah.
And then the other thing So this could be broken up a bit. Are they actually on their way to the going away dinner, or are they doing something else and they're just kind of thinking about what the rest of the day is going to be like?
Oh, okay. Good point. I need to clarify that.
And then both my hands return to the wheel as I let my foot off the brake. Where's the necklace? Because before they were holding the necklace, and it's a little. I know there's also a reference to a necklace later in the story. So is it the same necklace? Is it dropped? What's going on there?
Yeah.
So I did put in notes here. A lot of the edits that I put in, you may wish to dismiss depending on which tense you want things to be in, because I noticed there's a little bit of change on the tense. So a lot of these changes are just like vibrates instead of vibrated, tosses instead of tossed. So I just went ahead and put them all in case you wanted it that way. Should just be, for the most part, check, 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 and then reading it through to make sure it makes sense. Because I know when I switch tenses in the middle of a paragraph, for me, it can be very hard to like pull that thread and get it back to how I want it.
Yeah, and I did say says there. Okay. All right.
Yeah, so if it really doesn't matter which tense you decide you want to use, just making sure that they're all the way that you want them.
Also, putting with the intensity of this, I think changing it to present tense, it creates that anxiety, that anticipation that I was trying to build for in the second part. So,
okay, very good. So this part is at the end where I guess I'm referring to a lot of what I was talking about in the beginning. Who's in the other car, and just being a little bit confused about who Rachel is making eye contact with.
Yeah.
And I thought that was where it was Ghosty Rachel making eye contact with Ghosty Rachel.
Yeah.
But I wasn't sure, especially because they both have the necklace in the first POV as well as in the second POV. So just to kind of clarify that. And if it is them making Ghosty Rachel in the first POV making eye contact with Rachel in the second POV, who's in the back seat? And why aren't they referenced in the first POV?
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah. Other than that, it was just the tense adjustments, and those are just some quick accepts if they're the way that you want them to be, or declines if you decide to go with the other tense.
Perfect. Now I just got to fix my screen. Easy, Sparky. Too big. We know it's 20 minutes. We don't.
Nailed it.
Give it time. Hold on. There's this sweet spot where I can grab and drag it over. Okay. Perfect. All right. You ready?
Ready.
So now we're going to edit. Hide that one. I like it as a ticker, I think. There we go. All right. In 3, 2, 1. Timer is up. Did you finish?
Yes, so I finished, and then I went back through and I started making some more tweaks and changes. I think I've made all the ones that I wanted to change.
I'm intrigued now.
I think it's better. There's definitely, like, I feel like it's like detangling hair. It's manageable now, but I could definitely go through and get it smoother.
Yeah. Well, apparently I added 48 words from the last time I touched it.
Nailed it.
So, got that going for me.
I don't know how much I started with. Let me look.
What's really cool is that I'm going through and I'm trying to fill in as many in order as I can. And so right now, without a break, I have edited episodes 1 through 19.
Oh, awesome.
Without a break. And that's when the first few breaks come up. So that's pretty sweet.
So I started with 277 words, and right now I'm at 448.
Okay.
So that's
really good because mine's 322 if I remember correctly. Hold on. Yeah, no, 332, and I started with 284.
That's pretty good.
I'm happy. I did actually a lot more deleting than I expected.
Oh, I'm intrigued.
Yeah, it's not that much. I mean, the story's still there, but it works. All right.
Do you want me to read first?
I actually want to read your story first. I really want to know how you did.
Okay.
All right. When she saw him, her first thought was leaving Earth forever. He seemed so out of this world. She stole glances at him, peeking over her shoulder to see if he was still there. She hadn't been counting on the social mixers. This wasn't the graduate life she had imagined. The expectation was all work and no play. She never thought of a life would be an ongoing dinner party, meeting a man with a heart of gold and dancing off into the night. By the way, there's an echo. Okay. It wasn't that she loved dancing. She enjoyed it. I'm assuming it wasn't that she didn't love dancing. She enjoyed it, but it was easier to avoid her allergies on a liquid diet. So they started with drinks after dinner. He pursued her and thought of things she would enjoy. Sunsets with wine at the beach, evening walks, drive-in movies, and milkshakes at the diner. She wasn't as careful to keep their dates to drinks. She wasn't as careful to keep their dates to drinks. Things where she didn't have to reveal too much were fading away. A sit-down dinner seemed relatively safe, somewhere they didn't have shellfish. Her allergy had gotten so bad she carried her EpiPen just to be careful. Finally, when he proposed dinner in a more secluded spot, she told him where she put it in her bag, tucked in the lining pocket. She always carried a bag, but now it was just under the picnic blanket. Thank goodness for that. But how embarrassing to ask him to stab her with it. Her friends were all used to the idea, but with him, it somehow felt different. She had told him, right? She opened her mouth to ask what was in the sandwiches, but the words came out in a hush, her breath rasping out. The sharp intake of breath that followed didn't come from her lips. Had the decline been so sudden? She could feel her soul cross the threshold. She could feel the panic as she looked into his calm eyes. I held her there as she was leaving Earth forever, her dark curls caressing my cheek, smelling of fresh lavender. I'd wanted it to be special. Watching her soul graduate had been one of the keenest pleasures of my life. The sharp gradient between living and dying, a fleeting breath to cross the face in one fateful moment. She stole my heart, and I'd be the one to take her breath away. I had always known about her allergy. That's why I'd chosen this spot for dinner. A carefully packed picnic, well out of the way. I wanted to hear the hush of breathing as I watched the decline. It was worth every penny, all the drinks that coaxed her out of her comfort zone. This moment was pure gold. Whoa! Nice.
Better.
Yes.
I hadn't, being a Flash, I hadn't written beyond that, but that's kind of the
I
idea
kind
that
of
I
see
had
this
for
guy
him.
as a serial killer, but I kind of want this to be his first. Like, he finally is, like, he has an idea, and he, like, the way I see it, he accidentally killed someone years ago or something, and now it was actual purposeful kill or something, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So,
I feel like if it was like a psychology thing of like he knew somebody who that had happened to, and he was like kind of obsessed with it.
yes. Oh, yeah. That makes so much sense. But yeah, that like the flow was so much better with her side. I like it was much better, like perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
everything.
I felt like too, indicating that his face was calm and that she's kind of been um,
Yep.
keeping this part back, um, made it a little more clear about why she felt embarrassed about it. But like you said, the embarrassment's more of just like this doesn't feel right.
Yeah. And then she opened her mouth to what was in the sandwiches, but the words came out as a hush. And like I'm like, oh, it's happening.
Yeah, I thought that was better too, because I was like, the word, you're like, what words? Just say any words.
Yeah. There's been no talking.
That's good.
Oh, sweet. Okay, now my story.
Okay, is the echo better? I turned the volume down on my laptop.
Yeah. Nope. No echo now.
I have plenty of time. This road is never busy, and I'm only going 5 over the speed limit. No cars in the intersection as usual. Getting a ticket for going through an ineffective red light was not the graduation gift I'd wanted to bring to dinner tonight. As my heel pressed the brake, I pinched the gold cross my grandmother gave me as a graduation present. Just 20 minutes until I get to the restaurant, then I'm off to college tomorrow. The light turns green. One hand steers as I let my foot off the brake. My other hand squeezes the cross a little harder as I try to stop in time. Rachel is in the back seat of Carrie's car. God, Carrie, even ever think about cleaning out your car? She said as she picked up a few papers. Oh, come on. You even stole my hoodie. Carrie smiles and steals a glance through the rear view mirror. She reaches over and grabs a tissue from the glove box to blow her nose. Ugh, I hate you allergies, she grumbles before throwing the tissue wad on the passenger seat floor. They hate you too, it seems, Rachel replies. Carrie's phone vibrates and she tosses it on the floor. It landed right on top of the tissue. Oh, sorry, phone. Even though you're not alive, I'm still sorry, Carrie says without taking her eyes off the road. I'll sanitize you later. I'm sure your phone will understand. I appreciate you not using it while I'm in the car, Rachel says, mocking Carrie. As they approach the green light, Carrie starts to brake. Being on the decline, it isn't enough to stop, but they are turning right. The light turns yellow. Carrie brakes harder. The light turns red. Carrie turns her head to the left while committing to the sharp turn. Rachel locks eyes with herself. The other driver who mirrors, squeezing their grandmother's gold cross around their neck as their soul leaves Earth forever. So, I like it. I like the changes that you made
So
early
many edits, though. I see it.
I'm still a little confused about what she hits.
Well, the cars are to be hitting each other. Like they're going to the same intersection.
But she's locking eyes with herself.
Exactly. So it's like the person's driving, Rachel's driving, and then sees this car and is like, oh shit, which I need to make it better because she takes her foot off the brake, and then I want it to be like she's taking her foot off the brake, pressing the gas, and then go, oh shit, and like squeezing the necklace or whatever. And then she appears in the back of Carrie's back seat without realizing what happened the moments before Carrie's car is the one that hits her. Because if you remember correctly, you got confused on this. You were like, well, she's in the back seat. I'm like, yeah. If you notice, Carrie never speaks to her, never replies to Rachel. Like, it is just...
That's right.
Rachel is a ghost in the back seat of Carrie's car. Already. And then they lock eyes. So it's like she gets a glimpse to how she died from another perspective.
Yeah. So I really like that idea, and I feel like every time you explain it to me, I'm like, oh yeah, I love it so much. But on the first read through, I'm still missing that. And that could just be, I has the dumb. Maybe. So Carrie is the first POV.
The first POV is Rachel. Then it's third person, where we have Rachel in the back seat of Carrie's car. Because they're friends and they're both going. I think what would help is if I'm going to add in a line of when Carrie throws her phone, she goes, I'm almost to the restaurant. Why are people calling me? I'm not late this time, or something like that. So it's like you have this, they're graduating too or something. And actually, to make it twist, she could be like, oh, it's Rachel calling me. Miss Early, Rachel is calling me, but I'm actually early too.
What about a moment where it's acknowledged that Rachel
realizes maybe Carrie doesn't see her?
Yeah. And she tossed.
So instead of stuff getting tossed to the passenger seat, it probably needs to get tossed to the back seat. And
it's almost like she doesn't see me or something like that.
Yeah, where she goes, hey, you almost hit me with your phone.
Yeah, something where there's a little bit of interaction where it becomes clear that Rachel is interacting with Carrie, but Carrie's not interacting with Rachel.
Yeah, make it a little more clear.
Oh, but that also would really call attention to the fact that that Rachel's like, I really appreciate you not using your phone while I'm in the car. But I also feel like, wouldn't Rachel be a little bit confused about why she's in Carrie's car and where they're going?
No, because she doesn't have memory and everything. Maybe when Carrie says something about, there could be a few things. After she throws the phone, Carrie says, why? I know I'm usually late, but I'm actually early. Rachel doesn't need to call me to make sure I'm on my way this time, or something like that. And then that's when Rachel's like, why would I call you? And by the way, you almost hit me with your phone.
Yes, I like that.
But maybe and then Carrie can mention something, or there could be in the back seat an invitation. Maybe the papers that Rachel moves is the invitation for the dinner. And that could be a clue. of like the first clue or something, like something that's starting to trigger Rachel to realize like she's not where she's supposed to be or something like that. I got a few ideas. Like,
yeah, I think too, if you put somewhere in the front, in the first part, where in Rachel's POV, something about maybe calling Carrie.
Oh yeah, like I'll call Carrie after I get to the restaurant.
Yeah,
or something. Okay.
And maybe mention something about her not being late there.
Yeah.
Because then when you do that, it kind of gives me the impression that like one of them needs to go straight and one of them needs to turn, but they're headed on the same route to go to the same place, so they like.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I'm tracking. I like it.
Perfect. Okay, so I got some more edits to do with that, but they will be done another time.
I have an orange loaf on Mail app.
What?
An orange loaf.
Orange loaf?
Mm-hmm.
Where's the orange loaf? In your lap? Well, now he's de-loafed.
He'll loaf again. No,
okay.
No, he's like, I'm going to sit at the desk now since we're working.
Right. So now... Oh, God. Not cool. Okay, now I gotta hunt for our next thing. Okay, so here's something. I wrote a flash for Flash Aha called Final Snowball War. And mine, I forget what my prompt was. Hold on, well, that was the prompt, was Final Snowball War, but I gotta find the, they don't have words when they do theirs. Let's see here. But they usually have genres, and I think my genre, I don't even know what my genre was.
No, you can't be up there, sir. No.
My genre was something feel good, I think. Kind of a war pep talk situation. So.
Are you wanting to do like a genre challenge?
We could do a genre challenge. Well, no, so I still want to edit this. Because I'm still in this editing kick and everything. But what we can do is a genre challenge for you, to where the prompt is Final Snowball Fight. Oh, Final Snowball War is your prompt. And then the challenge could be a genre. And I'm trying to think. Let's see here. I got an idea. Here we go.
Okay, I'm sharing a document to you now. Ooh, romance.
You sure?
That's what Zara said in the chat, so I'm going to go with it.
Well, then we'll go with Zara, because I was going to pull up a genre picker spinner thing and whatever it rolled.
I think this is really appropriate and also kind of funny, because I know we've had this conversation on chat where we've talked about romance as a genre, and then I'm like, if I get stuck, I just kill someone, and Zara's like, no.
Choose love.
That is not how this works. You cannot do that in romance. And I'm like,
but
okay.
All right. I'm waiting for this to refresh to show me that you've shared it with me. All right. Now, do you want 10 minutes to read over my story?
Oh, yeah, I can do that. You already wrote a serial killer. You got to try branching out every so often. How dare you? Fine.
Pull you out.
So I will be writing Final Snowball War, a romance.
Yep. Oh, typo already. I swear, sometimes I think I could write a middle grade. Other times I'm like, no.
You could absolutely do it. I've read enough of your writing to know that you can.
Yeah, but I also like to say fuck.
Yeah, and you can write it in there, and then in editing you take it out.
Yeah. Fiddlesticks.
Exactly.
Violin practice. I don't know. I'm just calling out random things at this point.
Also, when kids say like stuff that they're like, it's like my mom says that stupid is a bad word. So, you know, stuff like that.
I know my friends and I, we used to say like, oh my God. So I went to Catholic school. We would say snickerdoodle. Mm-hmm. And the teacher, she was like, I know what you meant to say. And we're like, but we didn't. We're trying to be good. Like, I'm sorry. I stubbed my toe. Okay. I'm going to say something.
Violin practice. Yeah, that was good.
Oh, shit. Now I just want to have a character that calls out all the things that they hate when they want to curse. And they're like, violin practice.
Actually, there's an urban sci-fi fantasy series that I read. And the main character and her sister... actually, no, this is the one that I said to you.
Yeah. Petunia is butt.
Yeah, and they were like, they had words for everything, and she would get really mad and start swearing in their like fake swear language and be like really mad then that she's like swearing like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it can work.
For anyone who's wondering what series we're talking about, it's a Blood Fever series. Mm-hmm. I still haven't finished book 3.
I'm on book 9 of the Watchmaker's Daughter series.
That series. That's CJ Archer, which, oh my God, CJ Archer. I read like all our stories. Shit, there's a Necromancer series. There's a Cleopatra Fox series. There is the Glass and Steel series, which is the Watchmaker's Daughter. Then there is the Glass Library series, which it happens after the Glass and Steel series. And then there's the After the Rift series, which is interesting. So After the Rift series has this, and I'm gonna ruin it, but not ruin it because it's gonna be interesting. So After the Rift series, the prompt for that for CJ Archer was, how did Aladdin become a prince? And like, did no one like just go like, hey, this castle just got built. This palace just got built in like 6 months. Like, no one just like, how did it appear? Like, and how did that affect the people around? And the people that were in his entourage, are they real people or made up or whatever? Like, what happened? So it's, I don't know.
That sounds interesting. Yeah, I've really enjoyed the book so far. Also, I have to say, if you like the Glass and Steel series, then you should also read the Soulless series.
So it's historical fiction as well as mystery.
Yeah, it's kind of steampunk, actually, I would say.
Yeah.
Kind
of set late 1800s, early 1900s.
With alternate technology and
yes, where multiple people have skills, worldly skills. So, all right, so I'm gonna put 10 minutes on the clock, so you can go over. And actually, I think this time, since
I know why Davi's so snuggly. I haven't laid on the couch with him today yet.
Oh, that's why.
He's like, excuse me, mother.
We need snuggles. All right. Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Okay. I think I'm done.
Good timing.
I had a couple questions.
I'm trying to make it pop open. There we go. Bring on the questions.
So I was curious about what the time period is and how the kids are. And the reason I'm wondering that is because I don't think I've met anyone in my age group or younger than me who's named Sandy.
It just, I don't know why it stood out to me. Maybe I was watching Rise of the Guardians.
Oh.
And they called it Sandman Sandy.
I was actually thinking, what's that Thanksgiving movie? Christmas movie.
Yeah. A Christmas Story.
Yeah, where he gets his tongue stuck to the flagpole.
Yep.
That's kind of what I was thinking. That's what I was picturing. So that's why I was asking about their ages.
I mean, I was thinking pre-cell phone. So we're talking, it could be anywhere from 80s to 50s.
Mm-hmm.
Not to reverse that and everything, but yeah.
The other reason I was asking is because I was curious about how old Justin is, because you say that she gets down on his level, like to meet his gaze. Yeah. And I was just curious as to, like, is this, is he like the baby of the bunch, or is he just like younger than everybody else? It's not.
I imagined he was younger, and yeah, that was the main thing. Is I imagined he was younger, but I could put some more effort into his character and make him like a sibling.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
because I did get the vibe that it is not a modern, not a contemporary piece, as in like happening right now. And she does kind of give off an older sister, like protective vibe, but like also they're all playing together and there's a variety of ages present, but she's also trying to make sure everyone in her team feels included.
Yeah.
There are 4. She gives walkie-talkies to the 4 oldest kids, but there's 3 battle lines, so I was a little confused about that. What happens to the 4th one?
Nothing. It was me being dumb. Well, like what do you mean? What happens to the 4th one? Because like she's saying 3 kids go this way, 4 kids go this way, and Jerry's like, why 4? And she's like, that's why you asked. Like, and this is where I went Princess Bride. Like she's God, what's his name? The guy who plays Battle of Wits.
I've never seen Princess Bride still. I know. Shame.
Okay. So he has a moment and he kind of does that, goes and like has this like illogical banter almost. But when Jerry says, why 4 right and 3 left, she goes, that's why you asked. And they will also ask as we charge. They'll be too busy counting to attack. And I'm like, and like she has this warped sense of like how the battle's going to play out, as if they're going to stop and count how many people are going to come at them. No, they're just going to fight back.
So what I will say though, no, I read that part and I thought that part was cute. I meant where she's handing out the walkie-talkies to the 4 oldest kids. And then there's one group going to the right, there's the group going to the center, and there's the group going to the left. But there's 4 walkie-talkies, so we don't know where that 4th one is going.
So I'll change that to like 2 down the center or something like that.
Yeah. So, well, you do say that there's two lines going down the center, but you wouldn't necessarily need 2 walkie-talkies going down the center, because even if it's 2 lines, they're still in a group.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they had 4 or something like that.
I also want to preface it to say these are super, super duper nitpicky stuff that I'm pointing out. This story is a very clean draft. And you said this is a first draft?
I think so, yeah.
Well, it is very clean, so...
I want to say I had another version or something that I was writing where it was a little girl. It was complete silence. And she like was on the sidelines or something, and the lead girl gave her the staff to mount on the other team's place, like, or something. And I forget, I don't know where that story came from, or but it was a battle or something.
That does sound familiar to me.
And I'm trying to remember when I wrote that where. Either way. All right.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, this stuff is just super nitpicky because this draft is so clean. I was like, I have to give notes on something. So these would just be like the very like
you
know, very nitpicky stuff that super doesn't matter. But it could. I mean, if you really want to get very involved in it, those things could become important. I changed a little bit here as far as the tense and spelling, where it was just a typo. I was confused by this. We are strong, planned.
Yeah, like they planned or whatever. I was just trying to think of a kid. Like, we planned and stuff type of flex.
Gotcha. I was confused like what she's trying to say there. So maybe like prepared or.
Yeah, prepared. I'll do that.
We're strong. We have a plan. Something along those lines, because that tripped me up a little bit.
I was having a little Braveheart moment.
It'd be like that.
Yeah.
But and then I just changed the punctuation here.
Yeah.
But I do really like this story, and I was also like kind of cracking up at like just the way everything plays out is like very relatable.
We've all been there. All right. So are you ready to write your final Snowball War romance?
Yes. I don't know how this is going to go. I'm going to put in parentheses that it is.
Yeah. Just in case if you write this and it doesn't come across as a romance, you got in parentheses, it should have been one.
How embarrassing for me.
Yeah. You did pretty good last week when we did the love of each other's lives.
It did?
Yeah. I mean, there was love in there. I'm trying to remember. I only remember my story, and I feel bad for that, but I also like
I don't remember what I wrote last week, so
yeah. You and I both forgot about the leaving Earth forever situation stories until
because our brains left Earth forever. Good times.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna write a romance, y'all. No one will die.
Do you want?
Hopefully.
Well, you can still be romantic and people die. Remember, what was it? 4 weddings and a funeral. The Notebook. Yeah.
Spoilers. I'm just kidding. Yeah.
So, all right, hold on.
This is doable.
Keep telling yourself that.
Thanks, Eva. I appreciate the vote of confidence.
I mean, Eva did call you her favorite villain.
I will take that, but did you see this?
Oh.
About me writing a romance.
We're going to see how this goes. You've written romance before, too, a little bit, but it was like, it was romance in the background. Because it was
have I written romance, or did I write tragedy?
No, it was a dialogue where it was romantic between this couple, but the police were listening in because they were spying on them.
Oh yeah, I did do that. See, yes. There's always like some kind of.
It wasn't just romance.
I do think you can do it. I don't know if you will do it. That is fair.
Oh, you got this, honey.
This is fine.
All right. Do you want 20 minutes or 30?
Do we usually do 30 minutes for this, or do we usually do 20 minutes for this?
I want to say we usually do 30 for the draft.
That's what I was thinking.
All right.
Yeah, let's do 30 minutes.
All right. We're going to do it. All right. 3, 2, 1. I swear the timer's fine. Just don't listen to me. Time is up. Did you finish?
Kind of. I couldn't decide what direction I wanted to take the story in, so naturally I decided to do two. I
Romantic, but okay.
wrote the bones of the first one, and I was halfway through the second one, which I think I might actually like better. So
I love how you went YA. Like when I scrolled up and I saw Y18, I'm like, yes.
I think it's cute, but it's not necessarily the other one. It's funny because the other one is Hallmark. That's the one that I'm half done with. So, yeah. Do you want me to read yours first?
Yeah. Since you've been wanting to read mine first for a while, and I was like, I'm reading yours. But yeah,
You're like, no,
we'll make
no.
chat wait for yours.
Okay. Here is Natalie's story. Sandy passed out the walkie-talkies to Kim and Gary, keeping 2 for herself. They outnumber us 500 to 1, but we have the knowledge of this land, she said. She set down a glove on the edge of the circle she had drawn in the snow. Here's their HQ. We are here. She set down the matching glove on the other side of the circle. Plus, Kim plus 3 will take left. Gary plus 4 will take right. She drew lines in the snow from one mitten to the other, mirroring the perimeter of the circle. Why 4? Gary asked. That's why. You ask and they will also ask as we charge. They'll be too busy counting to attack. Sandy smiled with her arms folded. Drawing 2 lines down the center of the circle, Sandy continued her military strategy. The rest of us will attack down the middle once they're distracted by the side attacks. The team nodded in unison. Sandy grabbed her gloves from the ground and stood up. Let's make our ammo. We have 5 laundry baskets to carry, and the rest of the team shall throw. Sandy slid her gloves on and began rolling snowballs. The rest of the team followed suit. Are you ready yet? A boy from the opposition called out over the battlefield. Hold your horses, the youngest member of Sandy's team yelled. Justin, Sandy called to the youngest player. He walked over to her as she bent down to meet him at eye level. With skull caps hiding their hair, they were clones down to the freckles and matching green eyes. You will have the most important job, she whispered, handing him a scarf and a walkie-talkie. This is our team flag. Sneak behind us, and after we conquer their army, it is up to you to stake our claim by tying it to the stick and posting it at the top of their fort. Justin took the scarf and nodded feverishly. Our battlemen are counting on you. Are you ready? Sandy asked. Justin nodded, gripping the walkie-talkie and scarf to his chest. Sandy straightened herself to address her party. We are strong, prepared, Sandy scanned each face, and we will conquer. The boys and girls cheered as they stormed the battlefield. I like it. That is super cute. I also like how you changed the walkie-talkie by giving it to him.
Mm-hmm.
That was I like it. It's cute. That's a very fun story and wholesome.
I try. Dreaming Truth came in, Felicia. I hope things are going well for you. I saw you interviewed for a job and didn't get it, so I hope the next one works out for you. Love how you labeled this Hallmark. All right. Y18, we'll start with yours. This town has been going back and forth all year, and with the most recent snow, they were gearing up for the final snowball war of the season. Some places were really casual about it. Kids had snowball fights, and that was good enough. But somewhere along the line, things had gotten much more serious for our town. I was excited about it too, but not for the same reason. Ricky Peters had been flirting with me since the start of the season, and I had been feeling something was going to change. We weren't on the same team, and that is what made it special. In the last battle we had, he'd caught me trying to sneak through the woods and get behind enemy lines to capture their snowballs. He could have ratted me out, but he didn't. He didn't tell me why he was in the woods either, but I thought it might have been for the same reason. That's when he dared me to meet him there for the next battle. I had to pick between being practical and dressing cute, but it was going to get very cold, and Mama always says there's nothing more attractive than a practical person who knows their own mind. Know exactly where he would be, just past the fallen tree near the spruce grove by the bend in the shallow creek. He was sitting on a rock, sipping from a thermos. Here, he said. Do you want some? What is it? Spiced cider, he said, handing it to me. Careful, it's hot. Come on, he said. Let's get out of the wind. I followed him to the nearby grove of trees where he dug down into a tree well. He put in little steps and everything, packed the snow so it had walls, and made a little bench for us to sit on. This is nice, I said, crouching so the low branches wouldn't catch the palm on top of my hat. I'm glad you like it, he said, his cheeks turning a bit red. I smiled at him and handed back the thermos. It's a lot nicer in here than in the wind, he nodded. I sat on the bench and he sat beside me. Do you think next time we could do this someplace warmer? Oh, that was him. Okay. Do you think next time we could do this someplace warmer? I'd like that, I said. I'd like to kiss you then, too. I smiled. You can kiss me now if you want to. Oh! Oh! Okay. Hallmark. I gotta read this now. You're good. Okay. Hold on. I gotta go on mute because I'm about to shout. Ugh. Alex is installing our new faucet. And he's like, Natalie, you got a second? I'm like, not yet. Okay. Hallmark. It was hard having boxes stacked everywhere, especially the week before Christmas. Oh my God, this is already Hallmark. I felt a bit better about it since the kids were out playing with the neighbors. They had been outside all afternoon. We moved a lot in the past few years, but this time was worse since it was right before the holidays. We had a fired chicken for Thanksgiving with all the sides that the chicken box offered. And I bought cranberry sauce in a can to make it seem a bit more festive than eating out. At least this time I managed to get the kitchen unpacked and organized, and was hopeful I'd be able to get the living room done too. Maybe we wouldn't have the yard decorated, but we'd have a tree, and a home-cooked meal, and cookies and milk for Santa. I was just getting the stepladder from the mudroom when I heard a scream coming from the backyard. I jammed my sock feet into oversized snow boots and half-zipped my coat before staggering out into the snow. He was already over there with a carefully scraping... Oh, shovel. Carefully scraping the snow away when I got there. What happened? I shouted. They didn't realize this was a spruce trap, he said. Trying to kill kids? Chandra. It's character building. I know.
So I have a whole thing planned from there. That's very Hallmark.
We can make it work. I can see the Hallmark thing here.
You know, he digs the kid out, loads them all up into his truck, drives them to the hospital, sits with her, gets her coffee in the waiting room, yada, yada, yada. Why don't you come to my house for Christmas, etc. Hallmark kiss at the end.
Oh.
That's my...
Okay. Here's the thing. Is he an uncle and that's why he's good with kids? Or did if you really want to go Hallmark, but this is also less romance because you're killing people. But what if his wife and child had died in a car accident?
Oh, see, I was thinking he was the single dad because his wife had died, but that's also very, very Hallmark.
I mean, yeah,
all his
we're killing people off page.
All his kids wanted for Christmas was a mom. So, ta-da, neighbor lady. And, you know, she needed someone to hang the lights.
Yeah.
And
Eva, we got 2 romances. We got a Hallmark one and then a YA teen one. The YA teen one is like finished. The Hallmark is close. It's at the beginning. Yeah. So we told Chandra to write romance, and she decided to write 2 because it's Chandra.
This is why I'm so tired all the time. To hang the lights and hang the lights. Pretty much. Yep. So I also feel like I did really good sticking to the theme for each one.
You did. The YA teen is definitely no killing required. The Hallmark one, I feel like you're going to have people dead well before the story started, which to me is almost cheating. Almost.
Yeah, if everyone dies off page, it's still romance. I have problems.
Oh, all right. Speaking of problems, Alex needs my help.
So we gotta wrap it up. We are running a little bit over. I know we usually try to be done at 4:30. So.
Yep. So all right. Fun. Thank everybody for coming. We will be on Chandra's channel next week. Yeah, we'll see what we write then, because we kind of don't really know until like the day of or the day before.
Yeah.
So it's been fun. Thanks everybody for coming out.
Well, thanks for the feedback and all of that jazz.
Yes. I love the stories, and it's almost like going down memory lane.
Yes. Oh, for sure. I feel like it's been enough time too where I forget enough that it makes it easier to actually edit and not.
Yes. I will say, for anybody who edits, take some time away from your story and write other stuff. Mm-hmm. Because coming back with like a fresh mind, like even today, I told Chandra I love the line of "She stole my heart and I took her breath away," and she's like, "I wrote that," like you'll have those moments, because I feel like if we don't take the step away, when we come back and read it, we only catch the bad stuff. We don't have those moments of like, wait, I did something good, and I feel like that's what the time away really helps strengthen.
100%.
So, all right. Thanks everybody for coming. We're going to end the broadcast now. Otherwise, it's going to be a long Southern goodbye. So,
bye. We will. See y'all.